so many int for Scuttle. Guys, you never prioritize Scuttle. Press tab, saw 32, and it's like, okay, it's free draw. Because you can't really count the CS at that point, because somebody's asking if I were in Nocturne's position, what would I have done differently? That's a good question, actually, really good question. This will tell you when to ward, when to push, when to not push. It's super easy, right? Yeah, but there's a way to know for sure, which is... The idea in this bootcamp is gonna be like how to never get ganked early, right? That's the main topic. So from my experience coaching, we can give you an introduction about me later. I coach around 3,000 sessions so far, and I do this for a living. And one of the main issues we notice in League is that the game is very snowball heavy, and the easiest way to like get the enemy to snowball on you if you're playing a lane is just when you get ganked, right? Everybody has like the plan for the lane, like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do in this matchup. I'm gonna play the matchup, but then jungle comes and it's very cringe, right? So the idea is that most, like 90+% of these jungle ganks are very predictable and preventable. It's just that most people don't even think about it too much, right? So the idea is that you're gonna learn how to perfectly track the enemy jungle early, and I'm using the word perfectly on purpose, like literally perfectly. And also, if you play jungle yourself, you might learn how to be a bit less predictable and also exploit the enemy when they are predictable, okay? You'll never get ganked, okay? This is why I call it this way. It's jungle tracking, but we care about the ganks, okay? And also, if you play jungle, you can get a lot of objectives. The idea is that I'm gonna teach you some theory. We're gonna be drawing on this map, and then after that, I'm gonna show you an example replay that I have here from a Master Diamond game, in which these things apply, and how to get leads using it. So the first thing I want to talk about is we're going to separate it into two things, okay? There's how to do the jungle tracking, right? Which we're going to learn today. It involves formation and the guessing, but also you got to build the habit of doing it, right? It's not enough if you just know how to do it, you like don't do it. So we're going to put some emphasis in how to build a habit of jungle tracking. So the habit, we're just going to focus on something really simple. Okay, it's just CMT, camera map tab, okay? Very simple. And the second habit I want you to build from now on, for this session to make sense, most games, as soon as the game begins, I want you to spam ping in the enemy jungle and tell your team to go ward with you, okay? So level 1, when we were starting in the beginning of the game, what we should try to do is go here and ward either one of the two buffs. So which one is better to buff? In reality, if you want to know where the enemy jungle starts, you can buff either of them. It doesn't matter, right? You can ward this one or this one, and it doesn't make a difference, because if you don't see him in one, he's in the other. However, in high elo I recommend warding the top one, and that is because in high elo a lot of supports will start with sweeper to prevent that ward, but they usually top laners don't have the sweeper, right? So if you want to make sure to know 100% where he starts, usually warding the top buff is better, just because it doesn't get swept like ever. Otherwise, if you have like a better invading team, like, you know, you have Braum, Ashe, whatever, just the bottom one is fine because you can ward and you can get a kill. But somebody's asking if we can just ward Raptors for the same effect. No, not really. I mean, Raptors will tell you where the guy is if you ward late. So the guy that can ward Raptors here, for example, is a top lane. So the Gnar can come and ward the Raptors. You just won't know where he starts until he passes through Raptors later, which we're gonna see. But we care about where he starts. And if you wonder where exactly the ward should be, this is another bootcamp that I do, that is the Vision bootcamp. And one of the main misconceptions that lower elo players have is that we care in high elo about the exact ward spots. We absolutely don't. Nobody in high elo cares about exactly where you ward. As long as you have vision within this area to know where he starts, it doesn't really matter where. If the word is here, or like, sure, you can argue there's some spots better than the other, but like for the purpose of knowing where he starts, it literally doesn't matter, right? Like when you come to a blue buff, for example, you can just put it there, you can put it there to see both. Put it here. It doesn't really matter. It's not an issue, okay? You just need to know where he starts. So why do we care so much about where he starts? We're gonna go into the next topic, right? So I promise you something. This is my thesis, okay? If I know where the enemy jungle starts, I know exactly each camp and timer and each ward I gotta put before minute 5. Like all of them. Super easy. So this is why another thing that I wanna show you is that if you go to League of Graphs, okay? Because we track better in Halo, if you go to like the win rate of champions in Bronze, you will see a lot of junglers that do like a standard full clear all the time, right? You will see like, for example, out of here, we have like full clear, full clear, full clear. Prayers sometimes full clears. Bolívar can full clear. Nocturne for sure. Amun for sure full clear, right? Warwick is the only one that really doesn't. This is because in low elo, even if you're full clearing and playing standard, like people are not gonna track you well, right? So you don't lose any value. And then if you go to the bottom, the worst ones are like, you know, the ones that you gotta change the clear. So Nidalee, Kindred, Rek'Sai, we change the clear every game. Lee Sin, Shaco. If you go to high elo, it's like quite the opposite, right? We have like Nidalee in the top, and we have the full clearers are not as good as they are like Kindred in the top as well. We gotta change the clear. This is because I'm gonna get tracked all the time, so you gotta be more creative, right? So the first things we gotta do is boring stuff, okay? Let's go through boring stuff. The boring stuff we're gonna learn is this too, okay? I promise after we learn the boring stuff, it will all fall into place. The boring stuff is the buff respawn time and the camp respawn time. When I say respawn, I'm not saying spawn, I'm saying respawn, okay? So respawn is when you kill it, how long it takes to be born again. So the buffs should be easy, okay? Somebody type in the chat, how long does it take for, if I kill blue or red, okay? We kill blue or red, how long does it take to spawn? Yeah, 5 minutes, right? Perfect. That's the easy one, okay? So buffs will be 5 minutes, okay? Pretty simple. And normal camps. So if I kill, let's say, Grump, how long does it take to... It's not 2 minutes. It is not 2:25. Okay, so triple 3 is the only one that got it right. It is 2 minutes 15. See how we play this game every day? How many thousands of games everyone here has, but we don't know these simple things, right? This is why we get ganked so much. So normal camps, 2:15, okay? So if you wanna be like nerdy, is 135 seconds, okay? So that means that if I kill Grump at 150, which is usually when Grump will die, if you start blue, obviously. Okay, we add 2 minutes, that's 350 plus 15, that's 405 or right? It can spawn at 410 if you were like, you know, a bit late, like 155 for 10, okay? But it's 215, okay? Really important. The next boring thing I want you to learn is the war timers, okay? So trinkets, I don't know if you guys know this, trinkets have a different duration based on the average level of champions on the game, okay? So when you have a trinket, the yellow trinket, it's 90 seconds at the beginning of the game, but based on the average level of the champions of the game, it goes up to 120. So it's 1 minute and 30 to 2 minutes late game, okay? And anyone knows the support words, the green words? How long? Maybe you saw it when I showed it here. This is the boring part. It's gonna get more fun later. Okay, triple 3 did the homework, so it is 150. So why do we care about this, okay? There's a third piece of information that I want to give you, which is, on average, the amount of time the jungler has to spend, so let's divide the map in two, okay? Usually, unless you're like in Iron, junglers will be very careful about like finish clearing a whole side of the map before going to the other side, right? You wouldn't normally see a jungler, like, if it's not super new to a game, you wouldn't see a jungler do like Grump, skip the walls, then do this, and then come back to wall. Like, that's very bad, right? Usually you want to clear in straight lines, right? So either do all of this into this, and maybe you can even do like a gank here or something here, and then the other side, right? So usually junglers will take care of all the things they can get in one side of the map before crossing the river into the other side. That's really important, because what that means is that we really care about how long he will stay in each hemisphere, okay? So at the beginning of the game, and this will go down over time, because the longer we are into a game, the faster we clear, right? So the time spent on each hemisphere, okay, it goes from 90 seconds early to like 60 seconds late, depending on the time of the game and how fast you clear, right? But that means that for the first couple clears of the game, if we see the jungler in one side of the map, one thing we gotta know is deduce how long he has already been in that side of the map. So let's say that we see this guy here. First thing we gotta know is how long has he spent here, and we're gonna learn that based on CS count. And then how long will he stay in top side? And that has to add up to around 90 to 80 seconds. And that's how long we have to do stuff in the rest of them, right? That's very important. So I have a perfect example on this game that I'm going to show you. I played a game yesterday, like in that master account, just to show you the exact tracking, okay? So, since somebody's mentioning Scuttle, this is not part of the tracking, but I need to say it because so many people int for Scuttle. Guys, you never prioritize Scuttle in the first clear, because the first Scuttle crab of the game gives 80% reduced experience. People don't know how Scuttle crabs work. So, first of all, the only time that two Scuttles can be alive at the same time is the first Scuttle of the game at 3:30. The Scuttle crab timer doesn't start ticking until both die. That means that if you kill only the first Scuttle of the game, if you didn't kill the other one, it will never respawn until the other one dies. The two Scuttles need to die for it to respawn, okay? And when the two Scuttles die, the rest of the game, only one Scuttle will spawn at a time randomly in one half of the map, and they will never be alive at the same time again. It's only one at a time and random. Okay? So that's how Scuttles work. The only time that there can be two Scuttles is the first one of the game. And then the other thing about Scuttle is that the first Scuttle of the game, this one, has 80% reduced XP, okay? So that means it only gives you 20% the XP that the others won't give. So the first Scuttle of the game, you should only take it if you have free time. For example, if you full clear and there's no gank possible in bot, you take Scuttle and then recall, so that when you're back in top, you get this at 410, right? But if you ganked bot, and you spend some time here, don't take the Scuttle, just recall and go for top, because you're wasting time getting this that gives no XP at all, and this camp is already alive. So you only take the Scuttle if you have nothing to do, basically. The first one of the game, okay? The rest of the game, you do take Scuttle. So now comes the important part, okay? Now that we know all of this info, we can actually begin perfect tracking. So how do we do it? The first thing we care about is how fast the jungler clears, okay? So for this, I'm going to be using averages. Depending on your elo and the champion you're using, the clearing will be faster or slower. So for example, a 3-camp clear by Volibear is like around 10 seconds faster than a 3-camp clear by like a really slow jungler like Wukong, right? So if you ever play jungle, what you need to know is the following. The jungler can't gank you whenever he wants. He needs to clear a certain amount of camps before ganking you. For example, let's say that I'm playing a champion like Nocturne, okay? And I started here. I can't just simply gank bot lane level 2. That's not a thing. I don't even have my elo. let's say that I'm playing a champion like Xin Zhao. I'm never gonna gank level 2 here unless they're like under tower 1 HP or something. Like, I need certain abilities to gank, right? So, unless you're playing a level 2 gank jungler like Nunu or Shaco, like cheesy stuff, most junglers will gank you like after level 2, right? So level 3 onwards. That's the first clue. The thing I care about is this. This is why it's so important to know where he started. We call this in Halo gank windows, okay? So for this we care about, let's do the case of the jungler started same side as you, okay? This will tell you when to ward, when to push, when to not push. It's super easy. So we're gonna be playing from the point of view of the red team here. We are the red team, okay? This jungler started same side as me, okay? Jungle starts bot, we are bot. If we are top lane, this would be like the jungle starting here. So if the jungle starts same side as me, unless it's like a cheesy jungler that can gank you level 2, notice this, right? A jungler will never like clear the 3 camps, go top, get walls, and then come back to bot lane. Have you ever seen this in your games? Maybe it happens 1 time out of 200 games, right? It's really, really weird that this happens. Really bad. And similarly, unless he's like a cheesy jungler, he's also not gonna do like 2 camps and camp. He's gonna do 3 camps, okay? So what that means is that if the jungle starts in the same set as you, the only gank window he can gank you is 3 camps. Notice that. He can only gank you on 3 camps. Have you ever noticed that? Nobody thinks about that, right? Like, I can only do 3 camps and gank you. We're leaving aside the invades and all that, okay? We're talking about gank windows. We don't care about invades for now. So that means that there's only 2 possibilities. He can do 1, 2, 3 and combat, or he can do 1, 2, 3 combat. And also, obviously, he can do like start raptors, but start raptors is almost the same speed as this one. So if he didn't do this, right, it means he crossed the mid lane. So this is the point that we care about, okay? The mid lane crossing is a really important timer. So mid lane crossing, very important timer, okay? So can anyone tell me? If I clear the camps and I didn't gank and I just cross the mid lane, right? What time is that? Yeah, around 2:30, depending on the jungler, right? So Oliver is 225, Wukong is gonna be 235, but the average is 230, right? That comes a bit with like knowing the jungler, so it's 230. What that means is that if you're playing bot lane, if this guy crossed mid lane, you can play as if he didn't exist anymore. That's what I tell when I coach the teams that I coach. It's like, guys, if we know he started bot and if after 240 he didn't gank bot, like just play as if jungle didn't exist. Basically, that's what you gotta learn. So the gank window, he starts in the same set as you, it's only 235 or 230 to 240, let's say, average, okay? So what does this mean, okay? It means that A, we must have a ward and or wave state to not get ganked before this, and B, after this time, feel free to play as if jungle didn't exist, okay? And by the way, how long are we gonna play as if jungle didn't exist? Well, remember how long is he gonna stay topside? I said 90 seconds, right? So 230 plus 90 seconds, that's gonna be minute 4. Oh, guess what? Minute 4 is when this camp spawns. So see, that's perfect. So now we comes wave manipulation, right? So basically, this is the game plan if the jungle starts in your side of the lane. You crush the second wave or push the second wave if you can. And why do we crush or push the second wave? Because, so that it bounces on cannon. And that allows you 2 things. One is that if you crush the second wave, now you can get a ward here because you have the push. And also the cannon is gonna bounce to you, so now you're on gank gold on the 235 window. And now, by the way, the enemy doesn't get level 3 on the cannon wave. Unless you're a solo laner, which we will explain later. So after that, we can begin pushing for level 3. Minute 240 passed. Jungle stop. We're fine. Okay. So very simple. Okay. To give you a slight like TLDR, just ward before 230, and if that time passed and he didn't gank you, just play as if jungle didn't exist. Okay. Simple. I promise you, you're never gonna get ganked after 240 if the jungle starts same set as you until minute 4. Okay. Very, very simple. Now, what is the other gank window? So this is the case that he starts the same set as you. So what if he starts opposite set as you? So now it's a bit more complicated. So what we care about only, it seems more complicated, but it actually isn't. Why? Because the wards, remember something, okay? The trinket lasts for 90 seconds. And the jungler will be in your side of the map for 90 seconds. So the only thing you care about is timing your trinket with the first gank window that he has in your side of the map. So if the enemy jungle starts in the opposite set as you, okay, let's say we're the red top laner, okay? What is the first time of the game that this guy can gank you if he starts the opposite side as you? No. 330 is the full clear. So he can gank you before that. It's 250, right? 245 would be like an insanely fast jungler. I guess if Volibear had like water walking, he could reach 245. But on average, it's gonna be 250, okay? Again, be careful if the enemy jungle is like a fast champion, like Volibear with speed and fast level 3 clear, like sure, he's 245. But that's just champion knowledge. So let's say like plus minus 5 seconds, okay? So why does this matter? Do you remember how I told you that if he starts in the same side as you can play as if he didn't exist after 240? Well, if he starts in the opposite side as you can play as if he didn't exist until 250. And then you might say, well, okay, but what's the gank window after? Because he could do 3 camp and go. Skip all. He could do 3 camp, 1 more, and then go. He could do 3 camp, 1 more here, and then go. 5 camp. He could do full clear and go. He could do full clear, scuttle and go. Doesn't matter. Why? Because all of these things that he could do, like skip this or not, it's all within that 90-second window that your trinket is gonna be up. Okay? So all you gotta do is time your trinket so that it's up a bit before 250. So this top laner guy, one thing he could do, for example, is he's not gonna crush the wave and let it bounce on 230. Before 230. He's gonna crush the cannon wave. So if this guy crushes the cannon wave, that's gonna be crashing at 240-ish, crush the cannon wave, go ward around here deep, like in this entrance, for example, and come back, and now it's bouncing back. We already got the level 3, so it's fine. We don't care about the bounce, and we're on gank call, right? So that's the first part, the gank windows, okay? Now, for the mid laners, if you care about getting ganked, is again like the 235 window, right? So mid laners usually will get ganked at like 3 camps, or like this. So if we gotta play mid lane, one thing you gotta care about is just the mid lane crossing. Why? Because if you're playing mid lane, the lane is so wide now that you just gotta know what side of the map the jungle is, and you just play hugging the other side. So low elo mid laners play in the center of the lane like this a lot. Halo mid laners will play in left or right, knowing where the enemy jungle is. So, for example, if the enemy jungle starts bot, you play in the left side of the lane until 235, which is the crossing, and then after 235, you swap to this side. Right? Very easy. Very simple to play mid lane. You never get ganked. And then you just, minute 4, you come back to this side again. Minute 5:30, you come to this side again, right? Every 90 seconds or so. It is super easy. Just that you're not thinking about these things. That's why I told you. It's boring. We don't like learning these things. But if you do, you get a huge advantage. I know it's boring. Now comes the math part. This is all assuming we know where he started, and that's just telling you to ward, right? What if I am the jungler and I don't really care about the ganks, right? I care about like tracking this guy perfectly. So this is where the CMT comes into place, what I said earlier here, right? The camera map tab. So the habit I need you to build, whether you're a laner or a jungler, is anytime this guy shows in vision, anytime the enemy jungle shows in vision, I need you to put the camera on him, okay? CMT, camera, map, tab. I need you to put the camera on him, look at the map, press tab. And I need you to do one more thing, which is I need you to click on him, left click, okay? Like this, like left click, like that. Oh, this is a replay, you get the point. So, why do I need you to do these things? Can anyone tell me? Anyone? Observation? Sure. The first thing we care about is level and CS, okay? When we do the CMT, the first thing we care about is level and CS. So I guess most people know this, but I assume some people don't. So how many CS will each camp give us? It's 4, so that means that we just divide the CS that this guy has by 4. Okay, very simple. Now early, you count CS to know how many camps he has. Do you know what you do after? Because you know how the junglers can, like, if you take a ward, it gives you a minion, and sometimes you push a lane and help a laner push, and it gives you minions, right? So does anyone here know how you track the amount of camps he's doing? If you can't rely on CS later, like, second, third, fourth clear? Because you can't really count the CS at that point, because it's like, he takes wards, he gets jungle minions, right? Yeah, so it's the jungle item. It's like the jungle pet item, right? So this thing that has charges, sorry that it's Japanese, but you see how it has charges, this 29? Every time you can see the enemy when you press tab, if you see him in a ward, right? So if this guy has 30, and then the next time he shows in vision, he has, 29 on camp. Very simple, right? Gotta count this. But there's one more thing that you gotta take into account, which is the jungle pet. Does anyone know how the jungle pet works? This thing here, the treats. That's Japanese. It says bonasu oyatsu. Means like bonus treats. Well, so the way treats work is that every 1 minute you get a bonus treat, and then every 2 minutes, yeah. So basically, you don't need to know every how much you get treats, by the way. You don't need to know these numbers, because you can just check your own, and the enemy jungle will be the same, okay? So check here. When you have 1 here, what it means, when you have a treat stacked, it means that when you kill a camp, look at this, right? See how I have 29? When this camp dies, it's going to be 28, see? It changed to 28. But if you had a treat, it would have changed to 27, okay? So that's a way you can track the enemy jungle camps, even when you don't rely on CS. Just look at this. If you have one of these stacked, you will get a bonus treat. Okay, so, but CS is not enough, okay? We gotta also look at levels. So, for example, okay, let's say that we're jungling, finishing our clear here in bot lane. Okay, chilling, first clear of the game. The enemy jungle shows here up in top at, let's say, let's say that he shows in top at 310. Worst 3 of my life. Hard to draw with mouse, I'm sorry, guys. And let's say that he has 20 CS and level 3, right? So what is that? 5 camps, right? Yeah, he skipped one though, right? Because obviously full clear is 6 camps, right? So how do you know which one he skipped? I mean, you can deduce it, right? Yeah, but there's a way to know for sure, which is instead of just being like, well, if I was him, I would have skipped Grump or whatever. Just look at the buff duration, right? So basically, let's say that he was like playing in 2019 and he could have skipped Krugs, right? We don't do that anymore in this clear, but just for the sake of the argument. How do you know which one he skipped? Well, by checking the duration of the buffs, when you click on him, you can see the duration of the buffs, right? So let's say that his blue buff was like full duration, like this. Like, you know how the timer is like full duration. That means that he literally couldn't have done anything after the blue buff, right? So that means that likely after taking blue buff from here, he didn't do anything else and directly came top. Now, if the blue buff was like sort of consumed like this, that means that after blue buff, he has to have done something, right? So that means he could have taken Grump after blue. So that means what he skipped was earlier. So maybe then you check the duration of the red, and the duration of the red is not as consumed as it could be. It's like this instead of being like full consumed. So that means that he didn't take Krugs, right? Because he didn't spend too much time after red. You see my point, right? By checking the ratio between the two buffs, you can see how many camps he did in between. And if you're wondering, well, how do you know for sure? It's like, well, go to your own jungler, right? You click on your own jungler that you will always see, and you check his buffs, and you know what he did, so you compare, right? I check my own jungler here, and it's like, let's say at the full clear. You don't need to know these things by memory, because you can see your own jungler, right? Let's say you see Nocturne here, both level 4, 24 CS, both of them, 6 camps, both, same treats. But also, like, because we have the same CS, we know that nobody did the Scuttle crop, and if you check the duration of the buffs, right, we have the red like that, and my red is like the opposite, right? So by seeing these things, obviously we're starting on the same side of the map, because my blue is almost the same as his red, and his blue is almost the same as my red. Means we started like this. So just compare with your own jungler if you're unsure. Really simple. Okay, now it becomes interesting, right? So what happens, for example, if you have 24 CS and level 4? That's what we just saw there, it's a full clear. But if you have 24 CS and level 3, what is that? Yeah, skip the normal camp and did the Scuttle. Yeah. So that means we did 5 camps, Scuttle, and didn't do a 6th one, right? Why does this matter so much? Because if you're let's say I'm the bot laner and I'm pushing like this, right? And let's say that I see the enemy jungle here in top side and he has like 24 CS and level 3. What that tells me is that I can stay bot for a bit longer, because this guy has to come back to the jungle again to finish the last camp, right? Because he didn't do the last camp. That kind of thing helps you a lot. Also, if I'm this jungler, I know that I won't contest this Scuttle because he already took it, because Scuttle does not give you level 4. Okay, that's very simple. Okay, the next thing you can do also with the CS counting is like knowing when to invade or when you got invaded. So let's add all of these things together in a sort of example live, right? You see how in this example we have Nocturne and Shyvana bot lane at the same time? We have like Shyvana and Nocturne at the same time in bot lane, right? And they did pretty much the same clear. So the first thing I want to show you is the following, right? We're gonna see the game from the point of view of Shyvana. Now, we didn't get a ward deep in the enemy jungle, so we don't know like where he starts, right? However, we have 2 pieces of information. One is that the enemy bot lane kind of like was covering here, so it does seem like he might have started in the opposite side of the map, right? Otherwise, why would bot lane be here, right? And they didn't leash, right? They just arrived to lane fast. And the other piece of information we have is that this is 2 like full clear junglers, right? When you play a full clear jungle in this meta and you don't want to gank any lane, so look at this, we have tank Boren matchup in top lane that is hard to gank for either side, mage long range mid lane that is impossible to gank by either side, and boring matchup in bot lane that is impossible to gank. So every lane is kind of ungankable. I don't know if you knew this from Agurin's stream, from Yanko's stream, every pro jungler will tell you this. If every lane is a gankle and we're playing full clear jungle, we start topside. Okay. Somebody said in the questions that they refuse to leash in these games or something. You shouldn't leash, and tell your laners to not leash you. Okay. Leashing does nothing. You don't need a leash since the jungle bed exists, and you force your laners to lose the lane prio on level 2. It's really bad. And also you tell the enemy where you start even if they didn't ward. So don't leash. Okay. Tell your laners to not leash, and you never leash. Okay. Leashing is troll. So why do we start topside if we're playing full clear and we never gank? So like these lanes are on gankle, all of them, for both teams, right? All lanes are on gankle and we're playing full clear jungles. We start top because right now the dragon spawns at -5 and the void spawn at -6. So the way we usually full clear with junglers that don't gank is we do full clear, recall, 2 camps, get level 5, go dragon, and then bottom camps and go void refs. That's what Aurin will do every single game, right? We just start bot again. Starbot, full clear, get level 4. Recall, get level 5 with these 2 camps at spawn, arrive here at 5, get dragon, get bot camps, arrive here, get void refs, okay? That's the usual, like, full clear jungle pathing. So we're both gonna be doing the same thing. So we start the game, yeah, we do full clear. Now, I know that he started top, it's pretty obvious, right? Because he's also full clearing. And well, you wouldn't path to a Malphite lane, it would be like. So because I know he started bot, top, sorry, we're gonna wait, counter his gank, right? Wait out of vision and do a counter rank. So this is already jungle tracking, right? We know he started top and we know our own bot lane is pushed. He has 2 options, either take this Scuttle or just go for the gank. But I would go for the gank if I was, right? Somebody's asking why top and not bot start? Because of the spawn of the camps, remember, right? You start top because you do full clear. When you recall, only top is alive. You do this. If you start bot, you full clear, then you recall. Then sure, you can do these 2 camps and go dragon, for example, which is what you're saying. But then you cannot do the camps into void refs. Like you lose void refs if you... This is the way that we do void refs. Just watch like Aurin or Jankos or anyone, like every full clear jungle player does this way. Okay. So we have the counter jungle, okay, counter gank, whatever. So now look at this, right? Because we did the counter gank so fast, this Grump is gonna spawn at like 410, right? So we do have some time to do this camp and then recall, go Grump, and then go dragon, right? So this is the part that the jungle tracking begins. When this Nocturne spawns, you're risking enemy jungle to invade and take your camps while doing drag. Yeah. Okay, when this Nocturne spawns, where is... Let's do jungle tracking, guys. Where is the only place Nocturne can go when he spawns? He just died, right? Yeah, he can only go cracks, right? Or top lane in general. Not necessarily cracks. He may have started Raptor side. But yeah, top side, right? Okay, so we take this, recall, go top side, okay? And now this is where Nocturne screws up and we get the complete perfect tracking of the game, right? By the way, how many CS that Nocturne has right now is 24, because he only did full clear into bot and I took the Scuttle, right? So Nocturne has 24 CS, okay? Remember that. This is perfect tracking. Look at this. We take this. How many do we have after this? We should have 28 plus this 32, right? After this scrum. Now Nocturne shows in bot, in top. Very important. Let's press tab here. Look at this. 32. Okay, what does that mean? He took 2 camps after coming topside. So he took top lane Scuttle, but that's not enough because Scuttle is 28. So he has to have taken 1 more camp. And the only camp he could have taken coming here with enough time is the Raptors, right? What does that mean for him after he kills this guy? Where is he gonna go? Gonna go cracks. So what does that mean for Shyvana? Shyvana has free dragon now. That's what it means. Because of counting the CS, literally what happened in this game is I pressed tab, saw 32, and it's like, okay, it's free dragon. See how easy that is? Because I see 32, I know that it's free dragon, because I know he has to come back to this camp. And while he's doing this camp, I can walk to Drake. Okay? It's just because of the jungle tracking. Look, we can take this camp for level 5, and then we instantly go dragon. And we skip the bot lane, look. See, we go this way and skip the bot lane camps. Because we know he has to be here. And by the way, after getting these camps, is he gonna walk all the way bot lane? No, he's gonna recall. How do we know he's gonna recall? Because the Nocturne, we're doing gold tracking. You gotta do gold tracking when you play jungle, okay? The Nocturne did 2 camps, a kill, and another camp. So this is like a lot of gold. So when he's here with a lot of gold, he's gonna base. He's not gonna walk. Okay, he's gonna base. That means that I have time to finish these wolves and go for the dragon. But it gets even better. This is how the game snowballs out of control if you just do the correct thing. After I do this dragon, tell me guys, where does Nocturne have to be when I do this dragon? It has to be bot side, so what does that mean for me? After I do dragon? No, it means I can do Voidgrowth on top for free. Because he will be stuck in bot side for 90 seconds, remember? He already cleared everything in top, he has nothing to do in top, that means I can be in top side for he's in bot. So we take this dragon really fast. Somebody asked if we skip the bot camps. No, because Shyvana's really fast at clearing. Remember, I'm ahead in tempo here. He has nothing to in top, but I do. We can take this, then we can do Voidgrowth for free. And see, he shows in bot lane again. And obviously it's not like a possible gank ever, see? Because it's a lane that isn't gankable. But see, what would you do if he was him? It doesn't matter that I'm on a lot of gold because I'm just full clearing. If you watch Auren, he like wriggles on 2000 gold every wriggle. So like, what matters here is knowing from the, like, in the game from his point of view. After he did these 2 camps, why do I know that? So somebody asked, why don't you walk from Dragon directly into Voidgrowths? Because Voidgrowths spawn at minute 6, 30 seconds before. How do I know that I can do my 2 camps and then go Voidgrowths? It's because I know that Nocturne will be stuck in bot lane for a long time because he just took his top camps. So he has to be, remember this rule, he has to be in bot lane around 90 to 80 seconds. And I was right, after he took these 2 camps, he didn't just recall. Because remember, if he just took these 2 camps and just recalled, he would have like 200 gold, he would have no gold, and he would have nothing to do. So instead he's gonna try to force something in bot, even though it's not possible. Just because he has time to spare, right? That's how we get both Voidgrowths and Dragon. And they end up dying to it, but I don't care, right? Like, I'm so ahead now. In fact, we saw him ult bot, so that means we can even steal the red buff and have time to do it. In fact, we have perfect time to do it. We get the red buff and they are late, see? But look at how many things we got. We got Dragon, Voidgrowths, the enemy red, right? All because we saw the CS. All because we saw his CS at minute 4. Or minute 3. That's because we saw his CS count, we took Dragon, Voidgrowths, and Invade. You understand how powerful that is, right? Likewise, my bot lane is bad at the game, because if my bot lane was also CS counting like I was, they would have never gotten ganked by Nocturne, because they would have known exactly when he was top and when he was bot. So even though I'm doing the perfect thing, this bot lane got ganked because they are not counting the CS of Nocturne. So if my bot lane had counted the Nocturne CS when he ganked top here, if my Ezreal and Senna press tab and look at CS here, they would have been able to deduce that they have around 30 to 40 seconds more of free time without Nocturne in bot. And therefore, what I would have done if I was Senna, for example, is I would have never path bot here. I would have pathed through a jungle and deep ward here. I would have put a ward here. Because you know he's not there yet. He has to do one more camp. This ward would be dangerous. If Nocturne had 36 CS, I would never go on ward here, because that means he's gonna come bot now, because this is gone. So see, Senna's not jungle tracking. If Senna was jungle tracking, she could have put out deep ward here and then play safe because Nocturne is bot. So somebody's asking, Nocturne could have pathed instant Drake instead of camps. Like when? Like now, without doing cracks? Or doing wolves and grump? No, but he can't, because I'm level 5 and he's level 4. That's the whole point, guys. The whole point is that because I did this and he wasted tempo, I'm stronger. He can come, but he will die, right? I'm level 5 and he's 4. That's the whole point. Because you're ahead in tempo and doing the correct thing, dragging him. Regardless, also we have Prio, right? Like, we have Prio here, and I think we got Prio bot, didn't we? Yeah, we had Prio bot as well. Like, I don't think he can ever come. Like, look, Hui is moving, bot is moving. But yeah, no, like, if you're Nocturne, Shyvana does dragon way too fast for Nocturne to come here, right? There's no way. No, you can never come here with Nocturne. I guess if enemy bot and mid have Prio, then instead of going dragon here, you gank them, right? Like, remember that Prio means they're pushing, so you gank them. He should be... Nocturne should be around here. Oh, he's still in base. So he recalled after Crux. Yeah, he did Crux and then recalled. Yeah. Yeah, so he's super late. There's no way. I'm already done with dragon. Yeah, there's no way. It's like I told you, this dragon, the reason I could do this dragon is because he had to do Crux, because I counted his CS here. Because he had 32 when he was here, I knew that I had this extra time to drone. No, but if he skips cracks and insta-gank spot, he's ultra fucked, right? That is a super coin flip play. That's what we call a coin flip play, right? If he skips these cracks and insta goes dragon, if it goes wrong, the game is literally he lost the game because he's down 2 levels after that because I'm gonna get so much. And then when I embed his topside, I'm gonna be like 2 levels ahead of him and take the whole topside, not just red. It's just unplayable. That's super giga coin flip. Never mind the fact that he doesn't know that I'm in Drake, by the way. No, that's a giga coin flip. Because you would be like coin flipping that you. By the way, even if he did that, how can he fight me like 4 versus 5, right? Level 4 versus level 5. Super dangerous. This is red team's vision, look guys. This is his vision. See? He wanted to come drawn, but the thing is he doesn't have time. Because he had to do this, because he ganked this. The whole key to this is that I track the 32 number here, okay? That's the key part. I know that cracks are up because I saw 32 here. He knows I'm on Drake, but like, what can he do about it? In lower elo, people have this misconception that if something is warded, you shouldn't be there, right? But it's not true because like he can't teleport. Remember, after I saw the 32 here, it's an angle. It's unplayable for him. Anyway, that's the main example of tracking, right? Likewise, if I am the other example I wanted to show you is just early here in the lane. You see how this bot lane pushed the second wave? Here, they're pushing the second wave. So 235 is the time they could have gotten ganked, right? So after pushing the second wave, they should ward. But see how they're not warding? This is bad play by the bot lane. Oh no, actually, Nocturne started top, sorry. They should ward after 240. And they warded too early, that's what I meant to say. So they warded too early because Nocturne started top. This ward is super troll, okay? Nocturne is still topside. They should have warded around 240, 45. Remember what I said. If the jungle starts in the other side of the map, you shouldn't ward this early. This is a good ward if the enemy starts. This is a bad ward now. They should wait until after cannon wave. So, likewise, this Nar. Okay? Not that you will ever get level 3 gank by Nocturne in top, it will be very strange, but it's a good habit. It's a waste of trinket if you don't, right? This Nar should have warded when? Here, after this wave. Okay? Here we should have warded because it's the only time we can get ganked, right? If he doesn't get ganked at this time, Nocturne's never gonna gank him, right? Likewise, this way. This way should be playing the right side of the lane. I mean, Nocturne's not gonna gank you in this matchup, right? But you get the point. Get the habit. Build the habit. Right side of the lane, and then after 235, which by the way, see how we're crossing at 225 because we're a really fast jungler, but overall, it's gonna be 235 crossing, see? 232, 33. Okay, on average, it's 230, 25, 35, depending on the champion. So then Hui can move to the left. Okay. So that's all how to not get ganked, okay? Really easy. Learn your ward timers and the gank timers of the jungler, and then count the CS to know where he's gonna be next. If you do that, it's like, this will work all the way to like minute, I will say 7 or so. After minute 7, it gets a bit more complicated and you start doing like the treats, the jungle treats, and then the objectives based on like, okay, if Herald's up, for example, after minute 7, if like Void Drops are up but Dragon is gone, we can assume that the jungle stops it, right? Oh yeah, Shyvana. There's a bug with Shyvana right now that's what I I don't like playing her. But yeah, Shyvana's fun champ. Yeah, so mid lane you divide the lane in two and you play left when the enemy jungle's in this hemisphere, and then 90 seconds you play right when it was crossing. Remember that the 90 seconds goes down over time, so the first clear is 90, second clear is 80, and it goes down. But you see how all of these things noble off of knowing where the jungle starts, right? That's why you see so much in Halo, like so much emphasis in knowing where the jungle starts. If you're a top laner, if you ever watch Alois play top lane, one of the things he does the most is like the tracking ward, right? The game starts, wait until minute 120, then you come here and you put a ward here, or come here and you put a ward here. If you do that, you don't even need to have a ward for ganks anymore, because you know exactly at what times you can get ganked, so you don't need to ward, right? If you're a mid laner, put a ward in Raptors, or in red buff, or here, like track, okay? You don't need to ward your lanes for ganks if you know exactly when the jungle's in each place. It's like tracking wards are better than lane wards. Okay, that would be the lecture so far. Question time, if anyone has any. And I will take any comments, questions, anything you want to ask. After 7 minutes, how you track with the treats? It's like what you do basically is like you just see how many he had the last time you saw him. For example, he had 28, and then see if he has like a treat available or not. So if the next time you see him, he has like 26 and he had no treats, that's just 2 camps, right? And if he had a treat, he should have 25. At what exact minute do we aim to put the first word on buffs? Like, no, just invade as soon as the game starts and put it down. But go with your team. Try to not go alone, right? Just ping your team. Isn't an early control ward the best option to have? Yeah, but by who? I mean, only person who can do that is like who? Nobody buys a control level 1. What can you do? Well, fiddlesticks. No. Does he? No, you don't have money. You used to be able to add on fiddlesticks. Oh my god, I'm a boomer, sorry. What can you do to know where he is if the enemy jungle recalls with all of their camps up? What I do is look at what objective is up next, right? And depends on the elo, so if all the camps are alive and dragon is alive, usually you will go top, so you do full clear and then dragon, right? But that depends a bit on the elo. And at that point, if he recalls with all camps up, I'm assuming that he's like trolling in some way, and that means you won't get deep boards. Is Coin Drake the same config as Shyvana and Auction Worth if we play a slow clear jungle? No, with Rengar, Tiamat clears. Rengar's not a full clearer, right? I mean, he is full clear the first clear, but he's not like he's not a farming jungler. How to snowball the lead you have against enemy jungle? Well, see, this is more like jungle space. In the replay I just showed you, bot lane and top lane were both getting killed, but we were getting dragons and voiders and still ahead of XP of the enemy jungle. So if we keep repeating that, eventually there will be a fight that we take over the whole fight and get like a triple kill, right? Because we'll have like so many dragons, voiders, like XP like 2 levels ahead. It's okay to take my laner's waves. What are these questions? Guys, it's tracking, remember. I mean, he's called Don't Report the Jungler. He's called Don't Report the Jungler, look. Of course, the jungler asks when he can take the laner's waves. I mean, I'm gonna teach you how to take the laner's waves. After you finish the gank, you ping on my way on the wave and type, I'm gonna help you push, smiley face, and then you steal the cannon. And you pretend that you just help him push. Somebody's asking if I were in Nocturne's position, what would I have done differently? That's a good question, actually, really good question. What I would have done differently is when he came to kill Nara in top lane, I think he screwed up by taking this Scuttle. Like I said, early Scuttles are bait, because they take some time and they don't give anything. So if he didn't take this Scuttle, he would have come like 15 to 20 seconds earlier, and then he would have enough time to do this and go down. I think that's what I would have done different. Another thing he could have done is, Blue top lane was losing, right? So he could have just pinged on my way here and forced his top laner to come here with him. I think that if he was challenger again, because he was a master low, if he was a challenger low, I think I would have gotten invaded here with this. Plus also Nocturne had double lungs, I believe. So how do you track a Shaco who has his... The thing about Shaco invades in low elo is that if you clear well, you're ahead in level, so you win the invade. But like, I don't know if I have a rule to track the Shaco. It's just each game I have to see your game and tell you, oh, this is how I would track him here. I mean, it's just the same concept, right? On the CS is still the same concept. Just because he's a Shaco doesn't make the tracking any differently. Can you even track a Shaco? Yeah, of course you can track any champion. How to confuse enemy jungle tracking? Well, the way to confuse enemy jungle tracking early is to never go for ganks that you don't need to, right? So if I play a game in like Emerald, Gold, Platinum, the reason I can perma-track the enemy jungle is that these elos, the junglers go for ganks that don't end up in anything. So low elo jungler comes here, and let's say that he goes for this gank in mid lane and takes a mid lane flash, but nothing else, right? The reason this gank is so bad in high elo is that you think that you just wasted time. I always ask this to my students, like, okay, that gank you just did, you didn't get the kill, you got his flash. What did you waste? What did you lose? And he says, well, I wasted tempo, right? That's bad. And it's like, no, it's even worse. What you wasted is that you gave the enemy information on you. So all the enemy players can now press tab and know exactly where you're gonna go next. So what you gotta do is be really careful of giving the enemy information for free. Like, don't walk over wards. Like, one of the things you need to do is how to dodge vision, right? Things like, I don't know. Do you know that if there's a ward here, you can walk here without getting seen? Did you know that wards have less vision than champions? Did you know that you can see a ward without it seeing you? Like, things like that matter so much, right? You gotta dodge vision, and also things like disabling wards. So if there's a ward here and you disable it over the wall when you're walking, then you don't get the CS refreshed in the tab when the enemies press tab, for example. They can't track you, things like that, right? A lot of level up players, they will sweep a ward and then hit it. Like, if you're sweeping the ward for a gank, don't hit it, just keep walking, right? Just disable it. You start red trinket? No, only support can start red trinket, and only engaged support start red trinket. Like, in Challenger, what happens is that we fight over this bush a lot, right? This bush in the center of bot lane. So what happens is that the enchanter support or Karm or whatever will come here and ward this push, and the rel will come and sweep this push, because whoever controls this push wins bot lane, right? That's why you can't leash, by the way. If I leash in Challenger, I lose every game.